Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? There's some serious lag going on this week. Let me know you can see me and hear me. Give me a hand wave, uh, thumbs up, whatever. Just let me know. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Artie. Awesome. Did y'all have a good week? We had a week off. Did you get a lot of tatting done? Did you get other stuff done that you needed to get done? Awesome. I've been seeing your work. I'm getting proud of you here now. Or you know what? You're going to be a star student. Holy cow, you're going to melt, Artie. It is 91 here. And I have to say, well, we've had storms every day. Yesterday, it stormed a lot. Today, we started off with pretty sky. Now it's, yeah, gloomy. So we got probably storms building. Hi, Pam. Yeah, when you take the humidity down, temperatures doesn't feel as bad. Pam wanted everybody to know she said hello. Got some announcements for everybody today. As soon as we get the classes started, I can do the announcements. Now, I think Corinne asked in one of the classes if I would show how to add more thread when you run out, the easy way to add more thread. That I'm going to show first thing, and then we're going to get right into the lesson after I get the announcements out of the way. Yeah, I wished it would keep the heat down, but it's like after the rain quits here, it's back at it. Nothing worse than losing half of yourself. What do you talk about, Pam? I still don't understand what you're talking about. We was discussing class. Did I miss something? Hey, are you okay? I'm beginning to get concerned with you. Are you carrying on two conversations, Pam, and just hitting the wrong window? Hi, Mary. I don't know who you're talking about. I wasn't talking about any guy. Hi, Jeremy. Yeah, I'll talk to you about it after class, Mary. You be on Facebook? Okay, we'll chat on Facebook and set it up, okay? You have to excuse me. I'm tired. I've been up 3 nights with my dog. We had storms the other night, shook the whole world, I think. The thunder was enough, but the rumbling was awful. And she doesn't like thunder. She doesn't like lightning. And you can't blare your stereo at 3 o'clock in the morning. The neighbors kind of get upset about that. So that's the great thing about paper thin walls. Hi, Corinne. I had heard. RD let me know it's very hot out there. Yeah, you're right. She is. She's a baby. We call her baby all the time. She doesn't know she's a dog yet. We haven't told her. So she's 100% human with lots of fur. It rained here yesterday all day nearly. Now you'd think with as much rain as we got, it would be cooler. It wasn't. Temperatures never did drop. And we were supposed to have rain today. And I woke up, it was sun shining. And it's clouding up now. It's starting to cloud up. We got a couple of minutes. Let everybody get in because I want everybody to grab your notebooks and a pen so you can write these little notes down for class. What's rain? You haven't seen it in that long, huh? Well, we've seen it. Too much of it. I mean, everybody on the East Coast is just getting slammed. I can relate, Jeremy. People out in Texas, oh my word. Well, even with the rain, it didn't cool it off, Kathy. Not at all. You would think it would, but it didn't. Did y'all have a good fourth? We had some people that I don't think they've ever been in a campground before, and they were setting fireworks off. The best one was when they tried to set the fireworks off right in front of the propane tanks. They were real brilliant. People that own the place, stop that real quick. It takes rocket science to figure out you don't light a match in front of propane. I guess they wanted to take one of them shuttles up to Mars or something. I don't know. And they couldn't afford it. So they thought they'd drive themselves and take their camper with them. It's like, makes you wonder. The best part was when they pulled in beside our camper and had to stop because Dennis's truck was there. They was just cutting through. I'm not supposed to do that. So I think we've got a lot of the refugees here from the hurricanes that came through last year. I can't say, RD. I have people out there that I have a stalker, let's put it that way. And I really don't want my stalker to know where I'm at. You would think a tatting class wouldn't have a problem with a stalker, but yeah, there's all kinds. So I have to keep it under my hat. I can't say anything until after I'm gone. So we don't usually tell anybody where we're at anyway until after we're gone, unless it's family. The kids know where I'm at all the time. Pam knows where I'm at all the time. Jeremy does, and Anna does. I think the ones that know where I'm at all the time. And if I don't check in regular with them, they're sending out a search party. So, and that's good. That's good. I'm glad I've got people that look out for me because sometimes I can't even look out for myself. So, all righty. Hi, Julianne. Oh, you're just fine. Don't worry about it. We're going to give it a couple of more minutes, but I am going to start all the announcements. First of all, I would like to say that Anna, thank you for your donation. It is very much appreciated. And she's not in here today, but she's going to view this later. She told me so. Everybody say hi to Mary Jane. She's in here and she's going to enjoy class today because we're doing a couple of fun things. So everybody give a shout out to Mary Jane and say hello and hope she has a great day. Next announcement. If you would like to donate, there's several ways you can donate. We've got bills coming up in the next month that we're short to pay the bills. And so we've got to get some money in there, and we're short about $300 is all. And once we get that, then everything's covered except for the StreamYard. I'm going to just use the free version of StreamYard for a while. I refuse to pay the enormous hike they've done on us. And a lot of us are standing together against it. I mean, you don't go doubling and tripling the price of something that people have had for years that was the same price just because you feel like you can. Okay. And everybody's taking advantage of things that's going on and they're hiking the prices up. And bottom line is, I'm just not going to, garner any relationship on that and, buy into it. I'm doing like the rest of the users. We're protesting. So they either come down on the price or, people are going to leave the paid version. The difference will be that I can only have 3 people in the guest slots. That's it. Everything else will stay the same. But I paid to have, just in case we wanted to have a community group work on a project together or whatever, I paid extra for the other stuff. So that's going to go away. But we're about $300 shy of having enough to pay for the website and the domain name and the other particulars that have come up. So with that said, that's out of the way. The way you make donations is, 1, you can donate through PayPal. And if you do, you send it through the class site. You go to the website. We got a little button that says donate. You click on that, put in how much you want to donate, and then it goes off to the bank. The second way you can donate is super chat, super stickers, and super thanks. You can also watch those commercials. Okay. If you watch the commercials, you have no money out of your pocket whatsoever, just a little bit of time. And we donate our time to run the classes. And we're just asking you to donate a little bit of your time to watch the commercials so that we can meet the bills. So with that said, that's over. Now we're going to change things up. I've been thinking about some stuff, and I did get to see the new doctor. All right. Now she has lined me up with several specialists, and they're working on getting appointments. Within the next couple of months, I will have seen 8 specialists before this is over with. They're trying to get to the root of the problem, why my blood pressure will not control. And the funny thing is, first time I ever went to a doctor's office and it was normal, and that's in 3 years. So yeah, there's a problem, and we're thinking it's medicine, but we want to rule out every obstacle that it could be. Now, once we're done, and I just get my refills unless I have another problem. So she's setting me up with all these specialists. So to avoid the problem of canceling class at last minute, because you know how specialists are, we got an appointment today, can you come in? You know, instead of going through that, I've decided to finish up the beginner classes quicker than usual or normal. And I'm going to finish up the Christmas in July for July. I've got Tat Days coming up in September, and I've also got my son's wedding coming up in September. I also have the longest veil in history that I'm still working on. And so I've got things I got to get done. I've also got to make stuff for the shop and to sell at Tat Days. If you're going, I'll see you at Tat Days. If you're not going, wish you could come. Okay. So I'm thinking the last class for beginners will be the 29th. Now that's 3 more classes, including today. Let me double check. Let me get my facts straight because I don't want to confuse anybody. All right, we've got today's, which is the 10th. We got the 17th, the 24th, and the 31st for beginners classes. Okay, and that finishes out the 6-week series. That doesn't finish out the beginner classes. Now, if you didn't get everything you wanted in this 6 weeks, when we come back from our break, then we're going to hold regular beginner classes, and we're going to keep them only for beginners. Okay, and then they go public after. But we've talked about it, and if you come in and say you're a beginner, we're putting you in the class. You're not going to have to wait till the next 6 weeks. But the reason I'm running 6-week series is so that I can go back and, refresh for the new ones that come in. Okay, because there's only so many beginner things you can learn, but it's a refresher course. And sometimes you don't get it the first time around. Sometimes you don't get it the second time around. Sometimes it takes 4 or 5 times, and that's okay. We'll keep you in the class. But when you're ready to move on to the advanced classes and the intermediate classes, which I hold on Tuesday, be sure to be in those classes so you can further your education. And the 2 will work hand in hand over time. Okay? So we're going to finish out Christmas in July. Every week we're doing Christmas in July, and it's going to be different patterns. This month's designer is Wanda Salmons. Okay, Wanda's Knotty Thoughts is her website. Her patterns are fun. Okay, let's get real. They're really, really fun. They're small, itty bitties, but they're fun. So keep working on her patterns out of her site. If you see something that we didn't share in class, be sure to go ahead and download it and try it on your own. If you have a problem, holler at me. I'll help you through it. Okay? So we're going to finish up beginner classes, and we're going to finish up the intermediate advanced classes. All right, their classes are going to be the 15th, the 22nd, and the 29th. That will be their last class for this session. Okay. Now, I am going to take off the month of August and the month of September because I got a lot going on in September with Tat Days and the wedding. So I'm only going to, if at all, be able to get one class in. And that's ridiculous to start a class series and then cut it off. So we will return for class in October. And the first date for class in October will be October 7th for the intermediate advanced class. For the beginners, it will be October 9th. Okay, so between the last class of this July and when we return, I'm going to be a pincushion. I'm going to glow in the dark because they're going to have enough dye in me. I should be able to. And I may be a, test subject before it's over with. Okay. So wish me luck. Okay. And keep me in your thoughts that everything goes as planned. But so far we've got 8 specialists lined up, and I've been down this road before. It's nothing new. I've traveled it a couple of times in my lifespan. This is a problem I have dealt with since I was 22 years old. And don't ask me how I got to inherit such a fun thing to deal with. But I look at it this way. This is my sore thumb, and I'll get through it like I always do. So don't worry about me. I'm going to be fine. I'm in good hands. All right? So with that said, let's get on with today. Do y'all have any questions about what's changing as far as the classes go? Just let me know. And I'm going to give it a few minutes because I know we're lagging. Just a tad bit. My shoe fell off. Y'all ever have that problem? Your shoe falls off? Drives me nuts. I'll be walking and it falls off. I like my shoes to fit loose. My slouchy shoes. So anybody got any questions about the dates for the classes and when we're going to end? And I'm going to take a couple of months off. If not, then let's get on with it. Let me double check. Make sure. Yeah, we're lagging seriously. Seriously. All right, now we're going to go down below and I'm going to show you some goodies. All right. Let me switch my camera. And we're down on the desktop. See, you can't see nothing. Y'all can't see nothing. I want to get this in, zoomed in, so y'all can see what we got here. First of all, we got 2 patterns. Did you all download your patterns? I gave you 2 patterns. There's a reason I gave 2 patterns. Because one is intimidating, but a beginner pattern. It looks intimidating. Let's put it that way. The other one is not intimidating. It is a beginner pattern, but there's a couple of things in this pattern. If you don't watch what you're doing, you're going to mess up the whole pattern. Okay, so we're going to walk through both of these patterns. All right, now the first one I'm going to show you here. Now I did this one in the new Elizabeth threads that I was telling you about. Look at the shine on that thing. You all see it? It's got some sparkle. Let me get it up there so you can really see it. Y'all see that sparkle that thread's got? This is the new Elizabeth metallics. I'm loving it. Okay, I'm just loving it. And it's got a nice little sheen to it. It's going to bounce light if you make these as ornaments for your tree. It's going to bounce light everywhere you can imagine. Okay, and these are going to look really, really good on your tree. But the pattern itself is very, very easy. You all were in Katia's class, correct? And you all learned the clover dolly. Well, here's your clover. You learned how to put the clover together. Now I'm going to give you some viewpoints on the clover so that you can keep it all nice and tight. You're joining picots on both sides of that center ring. You want to be super tiny so that they butt up against each other. Okay? The second thing I want to tell you is when you go to close that last ring on whichever side is your last ring. If you're left-handed, it will be this one. If you're right-handed, it will be this one. When you go to close that ring, make sure you pull that thread from around and out towards this way. So you're going to follow where that first join is. And that is going to tighten all this up. It is size 20, and it comes in 40 and 80 as well. I don't know about 10. You can check on that. I know she was talking about adding more colors to the size 10. Okay? So, you can check with Handy Hands. All right. But when you close these rings, pull them up and like this. You're going to pull them around and up. And if you're working with metallic threads, that stops the kink that can catch you down here. Make sure you hold that pinch when you're closing that ring. Because you're working with metallic threads, as you can see, they got body to them. And they stiffen on their own because they're metallic threads. Okay? This white is more of a monofilament, like a polyester thread. Okay? So it still has metallic in it, but it's a very faint metallic. Yes, in a clockwise way, you're going to pull it like you're cranking a crank or something. Pull it around like that. And if you do that, it will pull that ring closed here at the base and not give you all that kinky stuff in the bottom of it. All right? If you're using these threads. If you're using regular tatting thread, let me show you. I'm going to do it in this bigger thread so you can really see. And I'm going to tat a ring as if I was tatting this ring. I'm going to tat a ring of 10 double stitches. I really don't like tatsy shuttles, but I'll deal with the tatsy shuttles for you guys. All right, come on, let's work with me. I got 2, 3, 4, and you see why I don't like tatsy shuttles. You got to keep adding more thread to get them through the loop. There's 4, 5, 6, 7. There it goes again. Have to fight with it. All right, let me count them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Give yourself some more thread if you're using tatsy in size 3 thread. 9 and 10. Okay, now when you start to close, watch what I'm doing. I am putting that end and this end into the pinch. Now this is hard to do using this larger size thread, but it's accommodating. You can do it. Start closing that ring. One of those didn't flip. Yeah, they did. I just had too much of a pinch on it. Start closing your ring, but you keep the 2 ends in your pinch so they don't curl under. Because once they curl under, this twist. So, follow it around, but you see, here's the beginning. You want to pull to that beginning section. Just like that. And you keep pulling. And when you're done, you close that gap at the base of that ring. Y'all see that? There's no gap at the base of that ring. So that's what you want to do with the snowflake of Harolah's. Let me put this over here, and I'm going to show you how to do the throne ring. This is a technique that beginners will learn because a lot of patterns have thrown rings. Okay, so you've done your clover, you reversed your work, and you did the first 10 stitches, isn't it, on the chain? Yes. And then you come to a thrown ring. Now that thrown ring can be 7 different names. More commonly, thrown ring, thrown off ring. Okay, if you see thrown anything, this is the ring, okay, that you're going to be doing. It's going to get thrown off your chain. And that's what it means. You're slinging that ring off the chain. So to do that, this is your shuttle 1. You lay it down. You're going to pick up shuttle 2, which would have been the loom for your chain. Okay? Take it off the loom. Wrap your hand for a ring loom. You're making a ring. Okay? So, now you want to do your double stitches. Now, I'm doing front side, back side. You don't have to. It's just easier for me to get it done this way. And she calls for 8 double stitches. I've got 1, 2, 3 double stitches, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay? Now, you want to pull those down tight before you put your picot in. Give yourself more thread and put your picot in. And with this, the first picot, if you was doing the first ring, is a tiny one. The second picot on your first ring is a tiny one. On your second ring, you are going to join to your second picot of your first ring. Everybody got that? It's the second picot of our first ring when we do the second thrown off ring. All right, grab that thread and pull it through. Now remember, these are tiny picots. Try not to split your plies. If you do, pull it back through, straighten your thread out, and try it again. Now, you've joined that, pull it down. Snug that join up to that picot, okay? Once you do that, you put in 3 double stitches. Oops. All right, I'm going to just continue on. 2 and 3. And you want to put in another tiny picot, okay? We're going to do that. And we're going to do 10 double stitches, isn't it? Yeah, to finish that ring out. Now, one of the things that she used was an SS. Anybody know what SS means before you started this ring? 1, 2, 3, 4. Open it up. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, same as the first ring that we just did. We're going to close that ring, the one we did on the tatsies. Close that ring, keep it in our pinch. Start pulling. When you see this ring here get smaller, start pulling upwards towards your chain. Okay? Keep going until that ring is completely closed and pulled in tight. And you'll see, okay? And this is the Elizabeth thread. I got too many stitches on that ring, but that's okay. I knew I did. All right. This is demonstration, so it doesn't matter. When you're done, you take that same shuttle you just made that ring with, you wrap your hand again for the chain. You're right, Jackie. Yes, you're right, Julianne. SS means switch your shuttles. So when you see that, you're going to switch from this shuttle to this shuttle, or from this shuttle to this shuttle. So when you're doing this, make sure you always have 2 different colored shuttles, 2 different style. However, you can tell them apart. If you got all the same kind and they're all the same color, put a little sticky on there. Okay. And you can get, let me show you here, little stickers like this. You get them at the like Office Depot, Office Max, and you just put 1 and 2 on them and stick them on your shuttles. It won't hurt them. Okay. And then you know which one's which. But you have to distinguish shuttle 1 from shuttle 2, especially if you're working with more than one shuttle. All right. And there are patterns that have 4 or 5 shuttles to them. So you've got to keep your shuttles separate and know how to tell them apart. If you're using all the same style, all the same color, So that's why I say, if you're going to use 2 of the same style, 2 different colors. Get one that's decorated and one that's not. That's how you can keep them distinguished. You pick which one you want to use for shuttle 1 and which one you want to use for shuttle 2. And then you keep that in your mind. This is shuttle 1, so shuttle 1 has to go here, okay? And this pattern here will test that for you, okay? Because on this one, we've got some difficult parts. It is a beginner pattern. Most of these techniques you've already learned or you've already done. Now I'm going to walk you through this one. This is a gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous pattern. Okay, you see how all these arms fan out and they've got all these variety of picots on it. That is what gives it its wow factor. Okay, now can you imagine this pattern and this sparkly thread? Okay, we are just topping the sky on that one. Okay, this will be gorgeous in this thread. But you got to be mindful. Remember, this is a little stiffer than your cotton thread. So working with it can be difficult. Take your time. Watch what you're doing. You don't want to jab in there too many times because this metallic will break very easily if you wear it down. So make sure before you do a join, before you do your closings, before you doing your switch shuttles and things like that, make sure before you do anything that you're doing the right thing. Okay? Then when you close your ring, then when you join, you don't have to go back and tear it out. Be mindful. This here will teach you very valuable things about tatting, mistakes that are common that you can make on every pattern. This here will teach you not to make those mistakes because you have to be mindful when working with metallics. Okay, now let's see. RD says she marks her shuttles with that corrector tape, the kind you can apply to paper. You can mark on that with a pen, one, so that it lasts with working with it. It runs off when you're done. Okay, all right. And Karen says it's like peacock feathers spreading out. It is. All right. She said she said, I meant it rubs off when done. Yes, you're talking the corrector tape like this. This is called whiteout corrector tape. You can get a 4-pack of this. I think it's $1.98, $2 at Walmart. And this stuff will last forever and a day. Okay. So yeah, you can use whatever you need to use to keep the 2 shuttles separate. All right. Now, Corinne, I think it was you that asked about how do you add more thread? Well, here we go. I have a spot here that I just finished the ring. Okay. And run out of thread. Now I've got to add more thread. Now, there are 3 ways you can go about it. There is no set way to do it, in needle tatting, you have to tie it in. You got to go through a lot more. But in shuttle tatting, it's real simple. Okay? You can take your thread and you can run it up through the middle of that ring, grab your end, fold it over, and pull it down at the base of that ring to where it's snug and start tatting. You don't have to tie it off because our thread is the core thread. So you don't have much give in that core thread when you've got two threads going through it, which is your tail and the working thread you're working with. But if you're afraid to do that, you can always tie a slip knot. Okay. And just get it in there. This is the way I know to tie a slip knot. My mom taught me this. Once you get your slip knot in, you want to get your broken thread. Okay. Feed it through the slip knot and drop it down to wherever the base of that thread is. If it's on the chain, put it as close to the end of the chain as possible and pull down on that slip knot. Trying to do this and it just doesn't work well this way. All right, once you get it down there, maneuver it so you got enough room to pop that knot to the other thread. So you grab both ends. I'm trying to do this and stay out of the way of you all watching. Okay. Get it down there. Grab both ends and pull, and you'll hear it snap. If I can get my fingers on that thread, it's just going to fight with me. You would, wouldn't you? There it went. Now it's locked in. It's not going nowhere. You'll hear it snap. It just goes snap. Okay? You can feel it as well if you're paying attention. Now, we have this thread here is our chain thread. This here is our ring thread. We also have two tails. Now we have to work these tails in on our next chain that's going to go from here to here. Well, this chain has 7 stitches. We've got 7 stitches to work 2 tails in. When you're working in more than one tail into a chain or a ring, never, ever, never, ever do you cut them off in the same spot. It will show. Again, you do not drop them off at the same spot. You'll see what I'm talking about once we start. But first, what we're going to do, take our handy dandy do-it-all scissors and trim those tails back to where they're more manageable. Now, grab our shuttle, choke it up, bring it back up to where you can work with it. Reverse our work because we're going to join right here with that chain. We need it on the right side. Now, wrap our hand for our chain. And we're going to start working these ends in. Now, when you first start working these chains in, you get your tails woven in to the right spot. Pull your thread down. Grab those tails. Once you get the first half hitch done, the rest is a breeze. Draw that thread down to the knot and pull tight. Pull tight on this. You want that thread snug. Okay? Now, go ahead, do the second half of that hitch. Now I'm doing front side, back side because it's easier for me to concentrate if I do that. All right, same thing. That's stitch 1. We're going to do stitch 2. Bring it up. Hold it and pull that thread down. Now, batten it down. All right, now we can drop off one of these tails right now because we've got this knot here it's not going anywhere. We're hiding the ends is all. So you can feasibly drop one of those tails, and that's what we're going to do. It's the top one right here. We're going to pull it through and just lay it over there. You don't want to cut them until you get the entire chain done, because this has a ton of picots in it. You got to watch it and make sure you don't cut your picots. This has this here, this here, this here. You want to make sure you're cutting your tails and not your thread. So wait until you finish the chain before you join, and then slice off these. Snip them off. Okay, so now we're going to do the second half of that stitch. We're going to pull that tail back through. We'll do a couple of more stitches with this tail here. Here we go, and this is third stitch, because you're going to get a gap between the two so that it doesn't show. And there's the rest of the third. You see how you can weave it using your fingers after that point? Now we're going to put in first half of this fourth one. And guess what? We're dropping her off. All right, and we pull it down. Now we continue tatting. All right, we're going to put in the second half of that one. All right, that's 5, 6, and 7. Okay, now we have to join that 7 down here, but we've got to deal with these tails. Now, there's a couple of things you can do. I know y'all have seen the sequins, the large sequins. I can't lay my hands on them right now. I don't believe I see them in here. All right, you can get the larger sequins. They got a tiny hole. You can thread these through that hole, pull the sequin down, and snip, so you don't snip all this other. But what I do, okay, is I separate the two tails, pull it up, and I use my scissors to pull down and just snip. Be careful, don't snip your picots or your other thread, and snip your second one, and your tails are gone. Okay, that's how you can add thread and know that it's secure. But again, you can add it just folding it over, okay, like I did through a ring. Don't do it on a chain, do it on a ring, because you've got where the ring closes at the bottom and comes together to put it in there so it snugs up around that thread, and it won't come out. I mean, you really have to pull to get it out, but you want to be safe. You don't want it to come apart. Do a knot. Okay, now we're going to join down here at the bottom. There it is. And you're going to do an up join. The way you're going to do this up join is you're going to catch right here in the middle. The reason I'm showing you this, okay, is because this is the hardest part about this pattern, is getting this to join and hooked in and everything and not show so bad. Okay, so now we've got it joined. Next thing we're going to do is run our shuttle right through that loop, okay, and watch this magic happen. All right, we're going to pull it down, pull it down, pull it down, let it keep moving, let it go, let it go. Now when it gets down there, you want to straighten it out, lay it in there, okay, and then close that down. That is what they call a lock join. Now after you place that lock join, that's not going nowhere, but you can adjust the entire pattern when you're done. Everything gets adjusted, and you lay it out, you do your little thing, and you're ready to go on to the next section. Now, this next section I'm going to do is the entire arm, okay, that goes here. All right, if your picots are in the way, if you lay it down, Kathy, on your mat, okay, a towel will do. You don't have to have a bead mat. If you've got one, great. But a towel, a piece of fleece, felt, that will all work. You lay it down. You lay your picots out like they're supposed to go. They don't have to be perfect, but that gets them out of your way. They attach themselves for some strange reason to material. Okay? And you pull up on that tail, place your scissor down there and snip. And they're not going to be in the way because they like the fabric they're on. But if you do that on a tabletop, yeah, they're going to dance and you're going to snip your picot. Okay? But you make sure everything's out of your way before you take the scissors to your tatting. You don't want to have to tie in ends 2 places in one chain. You might as well back out the whole section because it's going to show. And I can show you on here. When I bring it up here, can you see a difference in that chain at all where I ran that tail through? So it ties it all in nice and pretty. All right. So now we're going to do this start up to this ring on this piece because the opposite side's the same thing. And the reason we're going to do that is because I want to show you how these 2 rings stack on each other because only one of them is a ring. So we are going to continue and we're going to make our first chain that goes back up here. And in the instructions, make sure you follow the instructions on your patterns. Don't pass up any instructions. It says that we must take 7 double stitches up again. Just like we brought down, what goes down must come up. So let's do that. We're going to put in our 7 double stitches. That's 1, 2, and watch this picot right here. You don't know how many times I've had to pull her out. You just pull it out if it gets caught up in your stitches. Okay, she has a mind of her own. Here's 3, 4, 5, and 6. Feels like she's in there again. No, she didn't. She didn't. That's good. All right, our next step, this is the part we're working on. It's right here. Okay, we've just done this one. We're coming up on this other side to the next leg, and we've put in that 7 stitches. Now we have to do the 6 ring stitches. So what do? We're going from one element to the next unless the instructions tell you to do differently. You reverse your work. So you take your loom off for the chain, reverse your work, top becomes bottom, bottom becomes top, and we wrap our loom for a ring. Okay. Now we put in our 6 stitches here. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we got to join to this picot here. Okay. So you grab your thread. You can use the pick on your shuttle, or you can use the crochet hook. It's up to you. And we're going to put in 6 more double stitches. It's 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, now we've got that done. We're going to close our ring. Remember, we want that ring to close proper. So bring that thread. We've got it in the pinch. Bring that loop down. You can feel on this side if it starts to kink up. If it does, just grab your thread and pull it back this way. You keep closing. Pull your ring around to meet back at the chain. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to adjust our placement on that ring. Just stick your hook or the tip of your shuttle in and adjust your placement. The only thing you're doing with this shuttle is holding that thread. You're moving the ring in the place you want it to be. Okay? Next thing we're going to do is we're going to reverse our work again. Because now we're going to work on, let me lay it out. We're going to work on this part of our pattern. Okay? Now these are what they call staggered or stacked picots. Okay? Had to get a drink. Now, this Handy Hands picot gauge is the best thing since sliced cheese when you've got picots like this. Because you start at the bottom and you work your way up. And you work your way back down to achieve the look that they're wanting. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? So definitely get one of these. Make one of these. However you want to do it to achieve what you need to do. Because each one of these picots, when you look at this pattern, they graduate in size. Now, she gives you no sizes. So just start wherever. If you want really long picots, you can start midstream and go up. Just remember, what you do on this side has to reflect on this side. Okay? So, that said, let's put in our chain. Okay? The yellow is shuttle 2. That's the thread that we're going to make the chain with. Give ourselves plenty of room because this is a long chain. Pull you off quite a bit of thread. Choke up onto our shuttle to make it to the point where it's workable. Now, what I like to do when they're fiddly like this, I will always grab that ring and pull like this to tighten it back up and line everything up because stuff does move. Now, I'm going to move that wing out of the way, or that arm, however you want to call it. Now, we got to put in 4 double stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we have to get our first picot. Grab our picot gauge. Drop it down right up next to it. Now you notice the flat side is up against this way. Because there is so many picots we are doing, I don't want to have to fight with that thing sitting this way. So I turn it. You use it however you feel comfortable. But I do this so that I don't have to fight with this along with everything else. So we put in 2 double stitches after this one. This is the second one. Pull that out, pull it over, and put it in the next slot. Okay. We're doing 2 double stitches. That's 1. This is 2. Pull it out, pull it over, drop it into the next one. 2 double stitches. Pull it out and slide it over. Now, if you see your diagram, there is a total of 1, 2, 3. Let me get it over here so y'all can see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So our 4th picot will be the last up in the air picot. And then we're going to start back down. So we move it over to our next level. Okay, place the picot gauge, bring our thread across the top, and let's put in 2 double stitches. 1 and 2. Pull it out, slide it over. That's the big boy. That's center point. Now at this point, what I like to do is go in there, take my hook or my pick, and pull them all out. Make sure they're dancing and standing up pretty, you know. Then we go back down. So our last picot was done right here. We're going to move it down 1. Okay, so we're going to go 1, 2, pull it out, slide it over. go down 1. 1, 2, pull it out, slide it over, down to our last picot. 1, 2. Now our instructions say we've got to put 4 double stitches in. So let's put the last 2 of them in. You notice I did not pull the picot gauge out because I was not done tatting. Now we've got the left side of our wing or arm, whichever one you want to call it. It depends on the tatter what it's called, okay? And we're moving into this ring. Now this ring is a doozy. This one is a self-closing mock ring, another beginner technique. All right. To do one, we're midstream, right? So we're going to wrap our hand for our chain using shuttle 2. And we pick up shuttle 1. We're going to pull this off some thread. Okay, we're going to wrap that thread around the pinky finger, bring it up to the pinch and park it. Tighten up our loom for the chain, and we are going to put in 3 double stitches, a staggered picot, 2 double stitches, a higher staggered picot, 2 double stitches, go back to the original size picot, and 3. Okay, so let's do that. So we're going to go 1, and watch what you're doing here. You don't want to lose that loop. If it comes off your hand, like it did on mine, grab it, put it back in there. Okay? Now, you can close your hand up on it. It should hold it. If it doesn't, you can use a paper clip on it, whatever. Okay? But it's doable. Just don't get your shuttles confused and all messed up. All right? So, let's move on. Got 1. Well, I got the first half, so let's do the second half. That's 1 double stitch. And this is where this gets fiddly. Because this is a self-closing mock ring, you're going to have a hard time keeping it up next to that chain. So just play with it, okay? Do what you need to do to keep it and snug it up. Hold it in the pinch, pull it down, and put in your 3 double stitches. Once that first stitch is in, it's locked in. Now, if that thing falls off your hand, it's okay. It's not going nowhere because you're not going to pull on it, okay? So we got our 3 double stitches. Let's put in our first staggered picot. We're going to start with the picot gauge at the bottom. We're going to put in 1 and 2. And then go into the next one. We're going to put in 1 and 2. Now we're going back to the first one. Okay, we're going to go 1 and 2. And then put in our third, because it was 3 picots. Slide it over. Now you see that little loop is still there. Now, if you feel like you might lose the loop when you're tatting, okay, show you something. Here's what you can do. Let me get it. It better come out. Come on. Grab you a bulb pin, paper clip, whatever you want to put on there. Put it on your loop so that it doesn't close up inside, because if it goes up inside, okay, you've lost it and you got to start over. So now here's what we got coming up. See this ring here? That's what we got to do now. That is a, guess what? A thrown ring. It's a thrown off ring, thrown ring, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to do that with switching our shuttle, wrapping our hand in a loom for a ring. We have all these picots are the same size. Okay, so we're going to put those in, and it's 3 double stitch, then 2 picots between each, or 2 stitches between each picot. I'll get it out right. All right, we got our 3 in. Grab our picot gauge. Now, I want to see those picots. I want them to be pretty, so I'm going to use the second notch on my picot gauge and put in 2 double stitches. We're going to do another one. Put in 2 double stitches. And we're going to do our third one. We're going to have to open our ring. Okay. Grab it. And we're going to do 2 more just like that. Slide it over. And this last one has 3 double stitches at the end. And then you count before you close your ring. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double stitches there. See them? Now let's close that ring. Pull it down. We're going tighten it up, tighten it up. As you can see, it was kinking up down here at the bottom, right? Take that, put those ends back together, pull on that thread, get that kink out, lock it in. Take our shuttle, our second shuttle, and wrap for the other half of this chain. All right. Now, take your moment to get everything situated, because you just jihawed everything you had earlier because of the thrown ring. Now we're going to go and we're going to do the second half of this self-closing mock ring. So we're going to put in 3 double stitches, 1, 2, and 3. If it catches, take your little pick, lift it up. Don't close that ring up or nothing until you get it all untangled. And it will. Just remember, it will. It's supposed to. Okay, it's to irritate. That's how Murphy steps in and just can run all over your fun time. All right, so we've got 3 double stitches. Have I counted that right? No. I put in 4. Okay. I'm going to take 1 out. All right, so we've got 3 double stitches. We're going to put our first picot in down here at the bottom. Remember, these have staggered picots. So we're going 1 and 2. Pull it out, slide it over. Put in our step up picot. Put in 2 double stitches and slide it over. Here's our last picot, and this one's going to get 3 double stitches after it. This is 2 and this is 3. Pull it out. Now here comes the hard part. It's just really, really hard. Okay, let me show you this. Get that off my hand. First thing you're going to do is remove your paper clip. That's the hard part. Lay it to the side. Second thing you're going to do is you're going to close that ring. How you're going to close that self-closing mock ring? Let me show you. We want to make sure this shuttle is out of the way and not in the ring. Now, take and run your shuttle right up through that loop that you've been holding on to. Pull it. It's going to flip. It's going to flop. It's going to do all kinds of craziness. Take your hook or your pick, work it out. Do not remove it from the pinch until you get it almost done, and keep going. Okay. Now, one side of this is going to close before the other side, and that's okay. You just work with it until you get that ring closed. Now you've got your 2 rings. Okay. And when you come down this side, You're going to repeat this chain on the opposite side using the same picot measurements. You're going to make your ring and join here. You're going to come off with your 7 double stitches and join here, and you're done. Okay, your snowflake is finished. So let's put that last little bit, let's finish this up. Let me get all this trouble out of my way. Okay, remember this is a long chain, so we want to pull off enough thread to finish that chain. Okay, choke up on that shuttle, give yourself working room only. And the first is 4 double stitches. 1, yeah, loosen it up. 2, 3, 4. Now, we got our first picot, so we're going to put it in. It's the first notch, and we're going to put in 2 double stitches. Okay, put in our second picot, which is the second notch, and 2 double stitches. Slide it over. Going to put in our third picot, which is the third notch. You see how it can be helpful to use a staggered picot gauge, because you can count off your stitches by your picot gauge. Now we're into the 4th and last one before we do our drop down. So we're going to put that one in, and there is 2 double stitches behind it. Okay, now we're going back to the 3rd double stitch, going back down. It's caught on that. Pull off more thread if it starts getting too close, and tightening up on your fingers. That way you got room to move. We got 2 double stitches. Pull it out, slide it over, move into the next picot. 1, 2, and then we're going to do our last picot. And after this picot, there are 4 double stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Did I get it? Yeah, I got it. I got the 4 double stitches. Now, what we've got to do is reverse our work, because we got to make our ring that's going to mount right here. So, move all this out of our way. Wrap our hand for the ring. Okay? And the ring is 6 join 6. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we have to join it right here. Okay, on the other side. So we go down in there, use our pick, and pull our thread up through the center. Okay, run our shuttle through and do the other 6 of that other side of that ring. Now, mind you, all this tatting is going to get in your way. Just move it out. It's not going to hurt it. It's not glass, it's cloth, it's fabric, it's thread. Okay, so it's not going to hurt it. So we got 2, 3, got to open that ring up some more. 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Now, we got that done. What's next? We reverse our work, wrap our hand for the chain, and we're going to put in our last 7 double stitches to finish this pattern. So we have to choke up on shuttle 1 again. No, you do not need a shoelace trick after the self-closing mock ring. In shuttle, you do not use a shoelace trick. Not after a self-closing mock ring. Okay, so let's do our 7 double stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on, don't fight with me. 6, 7. Now we've got our 7 double stitches. Now let's do our lock join, and we're going to lock join right there. A lock join is shuttle lock join, it's also called. It's when you use shuttle 1, you pull your thread up, you join it, and it locks it down. Once you lock one, oh, it's a pain to try to get out. So try to be mindful of that, so that when you lock it, you don't have to go back and take it out. Okay, now grab your thread, pull it through, hook it on your finger, roll off enough thread to run it up through. Okay, and start working it down. Watch how it's going down. Straighten your loop. You don't want it to twist up, because if it twists up, it locks up. Now, what I like to do, because this is a snowflake, I don't want to tie in my ends and sew them in and do all that, because it's all going to show. Okay, so what I like to do is just tie a small knot, and I will flip my work over. Let me get these threads out of the way, these shuttles out of the way. Now, let me show you this. I use a surgeon's knot. Anybody know what a surgeon's knot is? Straighten my picots out. Everything's laying the way it should be. Now I grab my 2 ends. Right over left. Run it through. Okay? Do it again. Right over left. Run it through. Pull it down. Pull it down, pull it down, pull it down, and pull it tight. Okay? Now, if you use glue to stiffen it, that knot's disappearing, because you just lay it over into the work. You don't have to sew in the ends. This is a surgeon's knot. It will not come out. You take your scissors, you cut it as close to that knot as possible. Surgeon's knot is what they use when they do surgery on you internally, and they don't want the stitches to move until they fall out on their own. Okay, now this is your snowflake right here. You lay it out, make it all nice and pretty, stiffen it. Okay, use glue, use glitter glue, and stiffen your snowflake. And there is your pretty little snowflake. You can put a tie on it, you can put crystals in it, you can put beads on it, you can do whatever you want to do. Okay, Jackie. Yeah, I know, and it can get frustrating. It can. But the thing of it is, you learn from your mistakes. Remember that. You always learn from your mistakes. If you make a mistake in life, you don't, you remember that mistake, especially if it's crucial, and you don't do it again. And it's the same way in tatting. Okay, let me switch cameras so I can get my mouse woke up. She's asleep. Come on, little birdie. All right, let me switch camera angles. All right, everybody, I'm back. So let's see what all happened while I was into my work here. Let's see. Is there any questions about this design or Harolah's pattern? Any questions at all? Because today you have learned what a thrown off ring is and how often it's actually used. Okay. The center ring is seriously just rings and chains. That's why I didn't get into that. The instructions is right here. Okay. It is just rings and chains. It will take you on a step out to this round. That's all this stuff here. So follow the instructions. Just go through and read them. Think what you're doing before you do, before you lock down, before you close, before you tighten up that chain. Make sure you are on point. And that is going to stop your frustration right there. Okay? You train yourself to do this step by step every single time while you're a beginner. When you get on up in your years of tatting, that's going to stick right here. That's the way I teach, because how are you going to learn if you don't see it firsthand, Corinne? It's best to show you the pitfalls along with the progress. And I think people learn better when they see it. That's why I say always bring your notepad and pen to class so you can write those things down. And I'm looking for a volunteer to transcribe for the videos so that we can put them under the videos and you can pinpoint where certain things are. I've had several requests for that, and I just don't have time to do it. So if I get any volunteers, let me know. Yeah, Jackie, I mean, that is the best way. I'm a visual learner like the rest of you. And you can tell me till the cows come home how to do something, it's not going to sink in. I'm one of those people, I have to do it and I have to see it. And it sticks better if we do it and see it than if we just try it on our own. Because when we try it on our own, that's when we pick up bad habits. And those bad habits, once you learn them, they're so hard to break. It's like posting your shuttle. That is a personal preference. Okay. If you like posting your shuttle and the look of posting your shuttle, knock yourself out. Okay. That's a fairly new technique. Okay. Back in the day when tatting started, they didn't post their shuttles. They didn't even join. They tied things together. Okay. So we have come a long way in the tatting community on different things that make it look neater. But for the older tatters and the older set, they didn't post their shuttle back in the day. And now all of a sudden we're posting our shuttle. So it's a hard habit to create, but if you like the look, create it. Okay. Most of your techniques is centered on how it looks. When you sit down and you break it down to the brass tacks of stuff, it's centered on how does it look. And that's up to you. That's not up to me. That is not up to your neighbor. And I got news for you. Somebody that doesn't tat, all they know is it's pretty. They don't know how you created it. They don't know if you've posted that shuttle. They don't know if you sewed in the ends. They know nothing. All they know is what it looks like when it's finished. I know you do, Mary. Thank you so much for what you do. But I know you're busy. You got your own channel and you work. Now, I know that we have a transcription button. Pam can explain better. That's down in the bottom. But people are wanting timestamps. And the thing is, and I'm going to be quite honest, okay? We make money off of commercials. May not be much, but we do make money off the commercials. And the timestamps stop the commercial from coming in. So if they're not donating money and they're watching the videos for free, they could at least allow the commercials to run. Is the way I look at it. because I get paid nothing for the time that I take to teach, which I love teaching. I'm not complaining about that. But I have news for you. It does take a lot of time, a lot of effort to plan one class. And I'm doing 2 classes a week now. And I've been thinking some things through. This snowflakes, this year's design for your Christmas cards, it is a beautiful snowflake. And Pam, do it in the Elizabeth metallics. This one especially, this snow, that sucker is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. That thread is gorgeous. So, are there any questions? Yes, do hit the like button. It builds our algorithm, and it puts us at the top like we're already there, you know? We're at the top. We are the #1 online class for tatters. So keep us up there. Hit that like button. Make a comment or two. Let us know what you think. Anything we can do to improve on, let us know. Oh, you're welcome. You're very welcome. Oh, that's fine. Mary, if you can't do it, that's fine. Yeah, the commercials do help. They really do. And if we can keep watching the commercials, I don't have to put them in there where you can't skip over them when you need to. Because I know if you were working on this snowflake, okay, you don't want to watch a commercial during this. I'm just saying you don't want to, because this has got a lot of tedious places in it. And if you miss anything, you're going to forget what you're doing until you get used to it. Okay. So just remember that. If you're going to, I tell you what you can do is watch it through completely and just absorb. Saves you from having to read the pattern. Just saying. Then go back and walk it through and skip the commercials. That's a big way to help. You're welcome, RD. Thank you, Karen. So if there is no more questions, I will see you guys next week. We are not skipping a week. We will see you next week, same time, different channel though. Be different link for next week. And I want to see your pretty snowflakes, whichever one you choose to do. If you feel like this one is too much right now, do Harolah's. It's easier. It'll bring you into that. All right. Thank you, Mary. So, without further ado, let's all get our thread and make us some snowflakes for Christmas. All right. Y'all have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next Thursday. I'll see all you intermediates and advanced on Tuesday. Beginners, you're welcome to come. Maybe over your head, but just keep in mind you can save it for later when you learn how to do it. So with that, may all your thread make beautiful lace, and happy tatting, everyone. Have a great one. I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.